A call for $500 silver from one of the top analysts in the precious metal sector. But today we're feeling some pain. We're going to talk about the reasons why. I'm going to give you a bunch of examples why we can be optimistic about much, much higher precious metals prices as we move into the coming weeks, quarters, and years. Guys, there is a plethora of examples about why we can remain optimistic. And look, the biggest thing I'm optimistic about, you joining me down here in the basement. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. But we're taking it on the chin today. Oh my gosh. Silver's crashing. Oh no, down what? $2 per ounce. We're going to go out and take a look. But I urge you to look at the big picture. Again, we're going to look at reasons and examples why when we look out 1 year from now, 2 years from now, let's take a little trip in the time machine, shall we? And let's put a smile on our face today, even amongst a red market. And hey, the day's not over yet. Let's go take a look at the silver price. Something very curious as of just a few minutes ago when I went out to Kitco to look at the spot price of silver. They do not have the price. It says something went wrong. I don't know if there's any breaking news on this. Is the LBMA shut down? Because that's where we get the spot price of silver. Up there we go. All right, it's back. Temporarily down. Spot price of silver, $52 per ounce. Let's go out and look at the futures price of silver, which is at CNBC. This will be the December contract in silver. You can see that right at the very top of the screen, $50.95. Now I have a 5-year chart of silver pulled up. Before we cry too much today about being down 4% in silver, for those of you who are new, silver is very, very, let's say, can be volatile at times. Some people have called it the widowmaker. It can have big moves up, big moves down. We know we've been in a major, major uptrend. Look at this chart. Come on, silver investors. Let me draw a line on here. And let's draw a line straight across at $30 per ounce. This goes back 5 years. Oh, hold on. Let's do that again. Make it perfect. There's $30, right? Down here is roughly $20. As you can see, for most of that 5-year period, up till about right in this range right here, although you could almost argue we went all the way to here into 2025. Anyhow, during this whole entire period, we vacillated in that $20 to $30 per ounce range. Now, right, we've had a big, steep upward move. We're not going to call that a spike, right? A spike would be a move more like this and right back down. We are still in good shape. Remember, if just 1 year ago, right now, silver investors, we let's see, we are not even a year ago. My gosh, what? Earlier this year, okay? Back in what? April, May time frame, when we had $30 per ounce silver, we had talked about the fact that we would, in just a few short months, right, be at $50 silver, we would be throwing a party. So let's throw a party right now, because the reality is nothing has changed on the silver story. We got a lot more to look at. We're going to talk about gold. We're going to talk about silver. You know what? Before we do that, let's say thank you to channel sponsor First Mint. They are sponsoring the Ron's Basement silver and gold content. They're a mint located in Las Vegas, Nevada, owned by First Majestic Silver. Quickly, want to bring you out to their website on a day like today when silver's on sale. I know they're getting a lot of people checking them out, but here's some of their products that they make: the Las Vegas round, Year of the Snake, Year of the Dragon, and their Buffalo round. Hail to the Chief. I love that Indian. It's my favorite silver piece of art out there. But they get their silver. They're owned by First Majestic, Keith Neumeyer's big silver mining company. They get the silver from Mexico, shipped to Nevada, and then it goes straight to you. Okay, no COMEX, no LBMA involved. All right. Thank you, First Mint, for sponsoring, for letting us come together. Guys, let's talk about what's happening out there in the world of precious metals, because I think it's safe to say it is still a mania right now. We'll start with this incredible piece of information. Breaking from Michelle McCory. Breaking. Gold officially becomes the first asset in history, the first asset ever in history to hit $30 trillion market cap. It is the biggest. It's an all-out global gold rush. Let's look at, and gold just hit $4,380 per ounce in Asian markets. Don't forget, we're going to talk about a big analyst talking about $500 silver here in a little bit. But let's look at some of the evidence of what's going on out there in the world right now. Because, guys, silver and gold are worldwide markets. They aren't just in Spokane, Washington, or Tuscaloosa, Mississippi, or anything like that. They are all around the world. This is not, that's one of the beautiful things. Silver and gold have been valuable forever and everywhere. That's unique, right? They've always been a store of value. They've always been money. On days like today when we want to cry, we will look at the gold price here in a little bit. Just remember that, okay? Right? The paper dollar holds nothing. The paper euro, any fiat currency, has lost every battle they've ever had with silver and gold. But let's take a look at evidence about what is happening around the world. This is incredible. People are posting things everywhere. I tried to pull up just a couple highlights. This is happening in Vietnam right now. And I'm going to pull this up on full screen and play this for you. Hold on. Here we go. Now we're on the full screen. And now this is what we're getting, just tens of posts like this happening on a regular basis. And we know that it's happening not only in Vietnam, but also happening. I'm getting reports from China, getting reports from India, right? Major shortages, there's no other way to say it, of silver and even of gold as well. We've got another one to look at. And it's not just, this is what's interesting. Take a step back when we talk about shortages, when we talk about stress in the precious metals market. We're looking at some retail examples right now, but don't you forget, basement dwellers, it's also really happening on the big exchange level. We're going to look at data about that in a minute as well. But one more piece of interesting, fascinating information about what's happening out there in the world. This comes from Hong Kong. Okay, queues, which in foreign languages means lines, to buy gold in Hong Kong. Am I sharing the right screen? Yes, I am. And this is from Hong Kong, from normal shops in the IFC Mall now. So that's what it's like if you want to get your hands on precious metals in Hong Kong right now. Okay. Now let's talk about the major exchanges, because while retail demand is important, right, even more so right now, there's major stress in the big markets. The LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, our good friends over there in London, England, who have so fairly and accurately determined the price of silver and gold for decades, maybe even centuries. There's a lot of stress between the LBMA, which is the more spot market, and the futures market, the COMEX, here in the United States of America. Let's look at some examples and reasons why we can be optimistic from that perspective that we could be in for much higher prices in the markets. Let's start here with a great post from King Kong 9888, one of the most respected names in precious metals. He says in yellow that the most hilarious thing is that the LBMA physical silver free float went from, quote, and this is what they were saying, it will last for months, to around 5 to 7K metric tons, to zero within 2 weeks. In red, the experts said everything was fine just 2 weeks ago. And then boom, zero LBMA physical silver free float. Again, this is on the big exchange, the big institutional level, the big massive investors, big industry that are demanding silver. And we're getting reports from everywhere, dislocations between the paper and the physical market, dislocations, people having trouble taking delivery of silver. Let's move on to the next one, because there's more. This was a great, read one paragraph from the Silver Academy, breaking and a global silver shock. The LBMA crisis forces 88% draw on COMEX inventories. This sums it up in yellow. Silver's physical market has just crossed a historic threshold. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange latest report confirms only 173 million troy ounces of registered silver remain in COMEX vaults. That's metal that's actually available for delivery. That's the registered silver. Yet, according to ex-JP Morgan Bullion Bank executive Robert Gottlieb, the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, must import roughly 150 million ounces to avert systematic failure. In other words, London now needs 88% of all COMEX deliverable silver to survive the current liquidity crisis. There's a major crisis between the make-believe Fantasy Island, we call it Fantasy Island silver, and the real physical metal, the real stuff, like this here 5-ounce bar that I love. It's upstairs Susie's favorite. Look at that. That's from First Mint. Beautiful. There's a big dislocation between this physical metal and the electronic markets. And that's what will eventually drive the price. Retail demand, and we'll talk more about this in a little bit. And we're going to talk about $500 silver can do it as well. But let's just go get some evidence about how insane the paper markets are right now. How much actual paper silver is being traded on the paper markets from the dude. And he brings up this for us. This was from Tuesday. The silver market traded 980 million paper ounces on Tuesday. Let's go down. Yes, Tuesday, October 14th. What about yesterday? Do you think there was a lot of paper silver? Because 980 million ounces, that's pretty much way above what the entire silver mining industry produces for 1 year, one whole year of physical mining of silver, right? More than 1 year was traded in one day. And if we look at yesterday's data, right, pretty much right on the mark. Congratulations, COMEX. You did it. You nailed it. 801 million paper ounces traded yesterday, which is very close to being exactly the amount of silver that the silver miners dig up out of the ground on an annual basis. It's absolutely crazy. Now we have data showing us that the metal is leaving the COMEX. This came from Stock Market News, which is generally more general investment oriented, but they're telling us silver continues to leave the COMEX, another 4.5 million ounces withdrawn in a single day. That means traders are actually taking physical delivery instead of just trading paper contracts. So they're trading all these paper contracts, but now we've got a massive increase in traders saying, yeah, no, I don't want to settle for cash or buy more futures contracts. No, hello, COMEX, I want the actual metal. Okay. It's happening because the London silver price is higher than New York's. So traders are pulling real metal from the U.S. vaults to sell it where it's worth more. Each withdrawal tightens supply further and shows how physical demand is outpacing what's left on paper. And that is demonstrated to us again, guys, by this. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Okay. Here is the spot price of silver, $52 per ounce. That's for the physical metal in London. Okay. It's a premium. They want it. And in the US on the futures market, it's at around $50.50. So they're sucking metal out of the futures market and sending it to London, where then it's probably getting sent to China or somewhere like that. This is backwardation, right? That's the technical term you may have been hearing. Backwardation occurs when the spot price, the immediate price for silver, goes way higher than the futures price. That's what's happening right now. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out if that backwardation situation corrects itself and we get more back to equilibrium, or where it should be, where the spot price is actually lower. But if that does happen, think about this. That will eliminate the incentive for people to buy the metal in the futures market and to send it to London. So we'll keep a close eye on all that. It's an evolving situation. Things are happening at such a crazy rate. And while we're on that point, let's go out here. Hold on. There's the dude. Okay. There's the CME. I got another one for you just to make things real simple. What should this will blow you away? What should the silver price be? This comes from Make Gold Great. Hold on. I don't think I'm sharing the screen, which I'm not. Now we are. Okay. Make Gold Great. Update on where silver should be using a conservative 1:15 or 15:1 gold to silver ratio. That's the number of ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold, which is currently around 80, which still blows me away. Hold on. We'll be back. We'll be back to this. I want to ask you a question. Even at the current prices, this is a tube of American Silver Eagles. I keep a little silver here at the house. There's 20 1-ounce American Silver Eagles in this tube. Are you willing to spend 4 of these to get 1 ounce of gold? I'm not. No, I'm not. The price of silver, and everybody's saying this, is still way undervalued. Let's go back and look at this proof that we get from Make Gold Great Again, who points out that if we get to 1:15, right, which he says is conservative, in which traditionally we have gotten that low in the past, right? But even 30 or even 50-1 gives us a way, way higher silver price. Anyway, actual mining ratios are estimated to be as low as 1:7, and all that silver is used up anyway. So silver's mined only at 7 ounces of silver are mined for each 1 ounce of gold. Yet the price is 80 times more for an ounce of gold. That doesn't make sense. And on top of that, the cherry on top is that most silver is being consumed, like what, 2/3 of it. So gold today, if the gold price is at 4,350, okay, where it would be to catch up at a 15-1 gold to silver ratio would be $290. And don't forget this, guys. Don't forget this. This one blew me away. From Financial Physics. This is a United States quarter minted in 1963. That means it has silver in it. In today's, its spending power, a 1963 quarter, right? While they still put silver in our coins, its spending power today, because of the silver, is almost $12. Think about that. Think about that, okay? When we talk about silver, being undervalued, it just never ends. Okay, next we're going to talk about $500 silver prediction, and it's real simple, real easy to understand. I'll give you the reasons why. I do want to say thank you to channel sponsor First Mining Gold. They're a development stage gold mining company in Canada. They have 2 huge projects, 2 multi-million ounce projects in Canada, Du Parquet in Quebec and Springpole located in Ontario. Look, the big gold mining companies are going to need to replenish their pipelines, and they want to grow. There aren't a lot of big multi-million ounce development stage projects in good jurisdictions, and First Mining Gold fits that bill. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com. Let's talk about $500 silver from a person who is one of the leading analysts, one of the smartest people out there. I agree with him 100%. Let's see what you think. Let's go out and see what Jesse Colombo is saying at the Bubble Report. And we get this from Jesse. Let's go to the top so you can see. This is the free section of the Bubble Report. And there he is right there, Jesse Colombo, super smart guy. He says, why I'm betting on a 10x surge in silver. And it's real simple, real easy to understand. Okay. He says, now I want to talk about an exciting prospect that I firmly believe in and am personally investing in. He's eating his own cooking. I expect silver to surge at least tenfold from its current price, which would mean a move from around $52 per ounce today to at least $500 per ounce. To understand the setup, let's start by looking at the long-term price chart of silver going all the way back to the 1960s. Then I want to draw your attention to the critical $50 level, which marked the peaks of the last two major silver bull markets in 1980 and 2011, both of which were followed by significant declines. Okay, but here we go. A major development is happening as we speak, as silver finally breaks above the all-important $50 psychological level. This signals the start of a powerful new secular bull market, which typically lasts for a decade or more. That indicates silver still has a long way to go. Now, there's a second reason why, but let's look at the chart that we can't look at enough, guys. The long-term price chart of silver. Here's the official $50 resistance level. As you very well know, back in 1980, we hit 50. Okay, we dipped for a long time, came back up, and in 2011, hit 50 again. That formed a cup. Then we dipped back down. We've been on our way up. Oh, we got to $50. Oh, silver will never get to $50 again. Silver will never go above $50. Well, you know what? Hallelujah. We did just that, and we have continued to do just that. Sure, right? No guarantees, but that chart that you're looking at, that pattern, the cup and handle pattern, is absolutely one of the most reliable and most followed charts in technical analysis. And the longer the period of time that it forms over, the more reliable and powerful the breakout, which is why Jesse is talking about, I can't even draw. It's somewhere up on the ceiling of my basement. $500 is how far silver could go. Sure, we're not talking about tomorrow or next week. This is a long-term ride. Many of you have been in this for a long, long time. But we will be defending the $50 range in silver, and it's going to be real interesting to see how this all plays out. But wait, there is more, okay? With silver now trading above $50, an all-time high, no one who has ever purchased silver is currently sitting on a loss. Guys, above $50, sure, we hit 54 in the futures, we hit 53, we're pulled back a little bit, but basically everybody's in the green. There's nobody out there who's saying, oh, I bought silver. Nobody bought silver at $70 an ounce. Nobody bought silver at $80 per ounce who's waiting to sell. There's very little overhead resistance right now in the silver market. But even more important, the final paragraph, he said, I believe this breakout is about to spark a major shift in investor sentiment toward silver, which has long been viewed as a lagging and underperforming asset compared to flashier alternatives like high-flying tech stocks and cryptos. We have not even seen the beginning of the wave of people who will be joining the silver movement. Now, look, I don't have a crystal ball. Don't make any financial decisions based on what I'm saying. I'm not a registered financial advisor. I'm just a guy in St. Louis who's been following silver and gold for decades. But I agree with him 100%. And when we have, guys, even the smallest amount of people joining us, right, in the silver and gold community, it's going to make a massive difference. Right now, right, we are elite, right? We got over 1,000 people on the live stream. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to support a family on this. We appreciate you. But we're small. We're elite. We're like the Navy SEALs of the investment world. We are the specialists. Okay, a lot of you are new and welcome. The channel's growing like crazy. But the big takeaway here, the big thing to remember, right, with silver in particular, from a technical perspective, we are in a new paradigm for silver from a fundamental supply and demand perspective, which we haven't even talked about today, but you know that, right? We are in a new paradigm for silver. And finally, I present to you, my fellow basement dwellers, that we are in a new paradigm for investors. And when that hits, right, think about the situation right now on the paper markets. Think about the fact that you are part right now of a very elite, you're like 1 in 100 people. Congratulations, you have superior intellectual horsepower. But when your neighbors, when your Uncle Dick and your Aunt Mary, right, and that annoying guy that you know at church or whatever, when they decide, when they wake up to the fact that they need to get silver and gold, we know what do we call those people? Those are the sheeple. When they come, it's going to be incredible, right? Prospects like Jesse Colombo talks about, a $500 silver. I know it seems absurd. Well, guess what, Buttercup? Right? 6 months ago, 6 years ago, when we were down here talking about the price of silver, if I told you that in October of 2025, we're going to have $50 silver, you wouldn't have believed me. When Bitcoin was trading for $2,300, had we told you that Bitcoin was going to go to over $100,000, you would have said I was crazy, right? I made videos, go check me, about a stock called Antero Resources years ago when it was like $1 a share. If I told you it would go to $20, $30, $40 per share, you would have said I was crazy. The future in the price of silver, $500 is nothing. It can go even way, way higher than that. Okay. We're measuring the price of silver in our heads, most of us in US dollars. Maybe you're in Europe. Maybe we're all over the world, because remember, basement dwellers and precious metal lovers are everywhere in the world. That's one of the big, big benefits to precious metals. It's valuable everywhere to everybody in the world, okay? And it always has been. These are the timeless stores of value. Look at what's going on in Vietnam. Look at what's going on in China. Look at what's going on in India. Oh, by the way, did I mention to you that there's 1.4 billion people in both China and India who are, let's just say, going a little crazy over precious metals, at least from all these reports that we're seeing. Okay, that's 2.8 billion people. That's 8 or 9 times the number of people that we have in the United States. And those are big developing economies. We're not talking about the China and India of 2011, right? The last time silver hit 50. We're not talking about the China and India of 1980. I mean, I bet the economies of China and India in 1980 were maybe 10, 15% what they are today. We've never seen the amount of stress in the paper markets, the big markets, the exchanges, the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association. And we feel so bad for them that they're having such a difficult time fulfilling their paper obligations. We're in for a good, wild ride. I think $500 silver in the next 10 years, when I'm sitting down here, we're going to be talking about it. I know right now what we're shooting for is $85 silver. See that little teddy bear right there? Because that's when we're going to take off the $85 blindfold on the little silver teddy bear. It's going to happen. Trust me. There was a time, wrong finger, that bear right there, the big gold bear, he was the big gold bear, and he was blindfolded with a $2,500 blindfold on for months. The poor guy, he was even handcuffed. People said, no, we'll never get $2,500 gold. Ron, you're crazy. You're a shill for precious metals, right? Well, guess what? I think it's safe to say that the bear's had his blindfold off for quite a while. It's going to be a wild, great ride together, guys. Keep up the great work. Don't forget, please subscribe, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you. Yeah, I'm talking to you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.